3 common long distance relationship struggles and how we thrive through them.
What's up, YouTube? It's Eddie and Naomi. Back again.
Your name's not Eddie.
Well, I'm Naomi. It's Eddie and Naomi. Back with another video. This time telling you guys a little more about our context. Where we're at now, how we got here, and what we're doing to make it better.
So we are in a long distance relationship currently, even though we're currently together. I took the flight up to Minnesota for the weekend, come visit lovely, beautiful Naomi, right? But we have been long distance. So essentially, tell the people how we became long distance, because it's kind of unconventional in a sense.
Sure.
So being in college or whatnot.
Well, we met in college, and neither of us went to college in our hometowns. So Eddie's from the East Coast, I'm from the Midwest. We went to school near Chicago, and so because of that, once we graduated and we both ended up going home, therefore we are now apart, long distance. And I guess I should preface that by saying not everybody chooses to continue relationships once you have to commit to long distance. There are definitely challenges, which is the whole point of this video. But for us, it was worth it to continue. So we are here now doing the long distance thing where we visit each other. We just graduated in May, so this is kind of the first couple of visits where we know what we officially won't have school to go back to, or where we kind of are, for the foreseeable future, planning to visit every month or so, what we can.
Absolutely.
So that's where we're at.
And I'll definitely say, here you go, babe.
Thanks.
I'll definitely say, for us, right, every relationship is different. For Naomi and I, starting off long distance was actually very beneficial. So we began dating the end of our sophomore year of college. So maybe literally like 2 weeks before the semester ended is when we became official, right? We've been talking before then. But when we became official, essentially 2 weeks later, she was back in Minnesota, I was back in Maryland, right? And usually people would be like, oh, that's a bummer. I wish you guys had more time to spend together. But it was honestly a blessing, because really all we could do was talk to each other. And that's really the foundation of any relationship, is communication, right? And so all we could do was get to know each other better, talk about things that may be like hard conversations, whatever it may be. It's really getting to know one another and connect with each other. And so really long distance was a blessing for us. And yeah, let's get into these 3 struggles. Because I'm sure if you're watching this video, you may find these struggles in your relationship, in your long distance relationship. If you're about to go into a long distance relationship, we just want to encourage you, right? And just give you the keys that work for us. And foundationally, most importantly, according to God's word, right? Things we found that work for us to help us to do well. Yeah, thank you. I was looking for the right word. Be successful in our long distance relationship.
Yeah. So the first of the three of the struggles that we came up with is losing flair. Flair as in excitement, as in the fun, as in, what do you think of flair? Pizzazz. I'm trying to think.
Was it
spontaneity?
Spontaneity, yes.
I'm trying to think of words that aren't like spice.
Not
We don't want to non-boring. Exactly. You can edit all that out.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all see the real.
So I think that one common thing is, because you're long distance, there's a big immediate limitation to things that you can do. So everything either becomes virtual. If you want to be old school, you can send letters. We've kind of done that before, like not solely letters, but we've sent each other like different things. Anyways, but outside of that, it can still be very limiting or feel frustrating to continue to do things that spark new things or spark fun and different things like that. So that's our first struggle.
I feel like a lot of relationships that end up going to the long distance stage end up ending, right? They're not successful. The people end up breaking up because they lose that flair, right? Because they start to get in like a rhythm, and it's like they have it figured out, right? There's nothing new. So if you just hop on FaceTime every night, y'all talk about the same things, it may feel like there's no progress being made, right? And just keeping it real, a lot of relationships are solely based on physical intimacy instead of intellectual intimacy, spiritual intimacy. And so, like I said, just being real, if hopefully not in a Christian sense, right? But if two people have built a relationship just off of having sex or physical intimacy, and now you're in a situation where that can't happen, then it's like there's no relationship, right? So I think it's really important, like even before you get to that long distance stage, to really have built that, like I said, intellectual intimacy, like getting to know the other person for who they are. What do they like to talk about, right? Simple things that you like to talk about. Talk about your passions, your dreams for the future, and really just being friends at the end of the day.
So with each of these struggles, we've kind of matched it with not necessarily a solution, but an answer or a kind of like a problem solving technique that we do. So when it comes to losing flair, what we decide to do is to continue dating. So continue dating is number one, based off of challenge number one. With that, I think that one of the main things we do is setting up dates over the phone.
Yeah.
And by that, I think one major date would be like trips where we come visit each other. Even if it's like a couple days, or if we can make a week, we'll do that. But I think that that's one big thing, is planning a large date, which would be a week or a weekend trip. Outside of that, we do things like each go get Chick-fil-A, or we'll do like games over the phone. They have specific apps that are for couples where you can ask each other questions, or different things like that. We'll do, honestly, Bible study, which is good for sparking new conversation and ideas.
Yeah.
So being intentional and kind of putting a name on it too. If we're like, oh, tonight it's going to be date night, or this afternoon we're going to have a date where we'll both go to a park somewhere and sit and have a conversation about just what's going on with us, like nothing to do with business or nothing, just completely about how we're doing.
Number two struggle that we may go through in our long distance relationship, a lot of other long distance relationships go through it, is distance, right? It's called long distance for a reason, and it is definitely hard, right? As much as I say you want your relationship to be based on more than just like physicality, right? You should have the intellectual intimacy. Let's be real, like we're people, and it's just a different dynamic when you're in person. Mm-hmm. And so distance is definitely, we'll say, a struggle, right? There's a Bible verse I'm thinking of that says absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's not even a Bible verse. That's just like a that's just an adage. Oh my goodness. It's just a quote, but it's real. Absence does make the heart grow fonder. And so, like, I know for me, it would be like I could physically feel like when I'm missing Naomi, right? Even if I'm on the phone with her, it's still like, dang, like I wish I was there with her.
Yeah, a big part of distance, I think, is I think we've talked about this before. Obviously, there's the pieces of like missing the big accomplishments, or I mean, we're usually there for those, but missing like the bigger things, or like a birthday party for a family member, like those things are hard to miss. But I think that for me, it's like the day-to-day things are hard to miss, just like the little things. Or that's like when the FaceTimes turn into, hey, how was your day? And then walk me through the list of all the things you did today. You know what I mean? And those things, I think, can be the hard part about distance. The other hard part of distance is when we do decide to do things like the bigger dates, like we just mentioned, like going to travel to visit the other person. That is expensive. And for people who just graduated from college who are looking for jobs, that is also difficult. So I think that the sheer just price, the physical monetary cost of hopping on planes, because we're not like a drive away from each other, we're a plane ride. So I think that can be another thing that can be difficult, is the monetary cost of going to visit one another and then wanting to do things once you get to the other person too. It costs things, but it will be worth it.
Absolutely. And the way I look at that, we're about to get into a solution for how to overcome distance, essentially, or thrive through being in long distance. I look at it as an investment, right? So like from a financial standpoint, I don't look at it as an expense, like, oh my gosh, I have to spend X hundred amount of dollars to go fly on a plane in Naomi. I'm like, first of all, I want to do that, right? And then I look at it as an investment in our relationship. It's like a stock, it's an asset. And I'm trying to see it go to the moon. I'm trying to see it go to the top. Yeah. Dang. I know y'all like that. But that's real though. Like every date that you may go on, every plane ride you may take to go see your baby, your man, whoever it is. Like, those are all investments. And so, obviously you want to be smart, be wise. But yeah, look at it as an investment, because you're really making investments in your future. And if you really feel like this is someone that you're supposed to be with and that you guys can do big things together, then
make it work.
Yeah, you gotta make it work. Oh, get off me, G.
When we don't have all the options to make the distance smaller, our solution to distance is communication. Even like we had mentioned, the FaceTimes that can be like, hey, tell me what you did today and walk me through the list of things you did. It can be repetitive. It's not always the most fun, but it still helps. It makes the distance feel smaller. It makes us feel in the know. The texts throughout the day mean a lot, just to be like, hey, what are you up to? Or, hey, I'm thinking about you. Or, I saw this and it made me think about you. Things like that really help the connection to feel solidified. It helps the distance to feel shorter. And it just makes the life together day to day meaningful in a way that wouldn't happen if we didn't talk.
Yeah, like Naomi said, it comes down to communication. Just like you can make financial investments in your relationship, excuse me, you also got to make communication investments. And for all my men out there, right? I'm about to get real.
Go ahead.
Real quick. Yeah, I see you looking at me, because you already know. Like, in our culture, we're kind of trained through music, through movies, entertainment, whatever, that as a man, like, it's not cool to be sitting up talking with a lady. Or I know, I respect the Polo G, right? He's fire. But I know he has a lyric. He was like, the only girl, he said another word. He's like, the only girl I'm giving conversations to is Siri. So it's like, men feel like they're not supposed to, it's like beneath them to communicate with their woman. But I submit to you that communicating with your woman is one of the most elite things you can do. It's literally an investment. This is my partner. I'm her partner. We're a team.
Yep.
There is no I in team. And so I can't just drag Naomi along with me, because then that's a burden on both of us. Naomi can't drag me with her, but we're elevating each other towards our purpose in life, towards even just having a fruitful relationship between the two of us. So communication is the key to doing that. Just simple things like talking, being intentional about our communication, but even just like when we're like teasing each other or like just having fun over the phone, like those are investments, and we are growing closer to one another. And so especially for all my men out there, like, don't feel bad or don't feel like scared to communicate with your girl, right? That's cool, right? You acting bravado and like, oh, like, yeah, this is my girl, but I do my own thing. Like, that's not cool. This should be your best friend. This is my best friend right here, y'all. So really build that relationship, that friendship, and that comes through communication.
Number 3, the grand finale. This one's important. Number 3 is trust. When you can't see the other person, when you don't know what they're doing, when you can't ask them in the moment, I mean, you can always ask, but when you have no sense of what's going on, do you trust them? Do you trust that when they don't answer your text and then immediately that they're not up to something bad? Do you believe that when you give updates about your day at the end of the day, do you believe that they actually said the things that they did?
That's huge.
Are you telling the truth? Are you trustworthy? It's not even about just trusting that person, but are you trustworthy yourself? And that can be challenged to another level when you really don't have any eyes on that person. That sounds kind of like a stalker. But when you're not involved and you have no participation even sometimes with what that person is doing, do you trust the other person?
Like Naomi said, are you a trustworthy person? Is the person that you're with a trustworthy person, right? A lot of people get into a relationship based off of, for men, oh, she's bad, she's fire, right? She has a good body. For ladies, maybe they look at men as like, oh, like he has status or he has money or he's a provider, like whatever. But if you don't really know this person, if you haven't built that trust at the beginning, then of course there's not going to be any trust in the long distance stage, right? And so yes, you want to make sure that you have found somebody who is trustworthy, right, and built that relationship. But the foundation of that comes from, are you trustworthy, right? You attract what you are. And so if you're the type of person who likes to sneak around, maybe it's not like always sexually, but you just like aren't 100% completely honest about everything, and you just like to be crafty and sneaky, whatever it may be, you're naturally going to attract somebody on that same frequency. And so if you want to have somebody that you can trust and know that they have your best interest in mind, then you should be the same person also. You should have the other person's best interest in mind and have that level of sacrifice yourself.
So with that, our solution is really spending time getting to know the other person. Eddie had mentioned at the beginning that we had no choice but to be long distance at the beginning, and that was the absolute best thing that we needed. I know he talked a little bit about it, but for me, from my point of view, I knew that I needed to build trust. I was like, okay, I've gotten to know him the past couple months, talking, whatever. We're agreeing to start dating right before finals, right before we go home. And while I know that I have enough trust with him to be in a relationship, do I trust him in this new situation where we're long distance and I have no track of him or anything like that? So that was kind of a testing point where we had to get to know each other. And like he said, the only thing that we did was talk.
And like I said, trust is so much more than being confident that the other person is not sleeping around. But I do want to address that because like that may be why you're watching this video right now, right? You may be in a situation where you're not really sure, you're not really confident what your partner may be doing. And I know you probably built a bond with this person, but like we said, if that person's like, you're not 100% confident, right? And obviously like everybody has insecurities and whatnot, but if you just feel like this person is not a trustworthy person and like you don't have that peace, then what's the point of being in that relationship? What's the point of committing your life to somebody who's not bringing you peace? Right? And so you should just be with somebody, like I said, you attract what you are. You should be with somebody who you know has your best interest in mind. And that comes from the other two things that we talked about, right? Like continuing to get to know the other person, continuing to build that relationship. Because the more that you do, the more that you grow in love, right? People talk about falling in love. But you can fall out of love, you can fall in love. Oh, this B got you. All right. But if you fall in love, you can also fall out of love. But you want to grow in love with somebody, right? And love is not a feeling. Love is not an emotion. Infatuation is an emotion, right? And it's good to have feelings for people, right? But the foundation of that should be love. And love is an action that you take based on a conviction that you have. I'm sorry I hit your arm right there. But it really comes from making that choice to sacrifice for the other person. Even something as simple as, I want to go to Chick-fil-A, but you want to go to Burger King, which you don't like Burger King, so that doesn't apply. But like just little stuff like that. Like I want to see her win more than I want to see myself win. I want to have her best interest in mind, right? And so in this case, let's say sexually, if you're in a long distance, I want to sacrifice for her. And so for me, bigger than just saying, okay, when I'm in Maryland and she's in Minnesota, I'm not going to sleep with anybody, right? Like, congratulations. That's what you're supposed to do in a committed relationship. So like really even going above and beyond. So like even something as, let's say, maybe usually if I was single, I would go to this party and hang with my guys. But now that I'm in a relationship, I don't even want her to like think twice to say, oh yeah, I'm going to this party and all these girls are going to be there. I'm just not going to go, right? Because I love her that much. I sacrifice, even if I really want to go, because I care for her that much and I want to see her peace and her mental health, right? And so I'll say that to say before I let you finish, wrap it up. If you're not willing to commit to the person that you're with or a person you're thinking about being with, you're not willing to commit to them on that level, then maybe think twice if that's the person that you want to be with. Now, obviously, you'll grow in your level of commitment. You'll grow in your level of love for the other person. But it should be somebody that you're willing to commit your life to. And, yeah, you just love them. You want to see them win. Somebody that brings you peace.
I have two things to say to that. One, I heard Eddie talk about infatuation, which is an emotion. And I thought about something that I had just recently heard is about God specifically. God is not moved by our emotions. He is moved by our faith. In a relationship, like when you're in an argument, I may not be moved by Eddie's, oh, I love you. Okay, this is not actually how we work either. Like, let's just be clear. But I may not be moved by tears and, you know what I mean? All those outshowings of emotion. What I am moved by is trust and like him showing that he is trustworthy even when things are hard. So yes, the emotions are important and they're part of it, but what you do based on those emotions is what matters. So God is not moved by emotions as much as he is moved by faith. We should not be moved by emotions as much as we are moved by trust with the other person.
That's real.
The second thing that I was going to say is with the part about building trust, for example, like Eddie had talked about, oh, if I was single, I might go out with my guys, but I may not do that anymore because I don't want her to stress. The other part of that is, what if Eddie's like, but I really do want to go to that party, or I really do want to go, not for the attention of the girls, but I want to go because my friends are there. Then that puts us in a situation where we need to talk about it. And then at the end of the day, if I am so mad or so upset about him wanting to go to the party, then I need to recognize that that probably means that I don't trust him. And that is significant, more so than, because I don't think that it's fair, like, for me to be like, oh, there's going to be another girl there, you can't go.
Right.
First of all,
Put a lot of people
I'm not anybody's mom.
Yeah.
I'm not his mom.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's important to have that level of trust where I'm like, okay, like, I may not prefer if you go, not because I don't trust you, but maybe I want to hang out with you. You know what I mean? So then that's when you find the compromise. It's like, okay, well, have fun at the party. Let me know when you're coming back so we can hang out after.
Yeah.
That shows, one, that I trust him, but two, that I also value his time. That's a whole nother conversation about understanding how your own feelings are, which is a level of trust within yourself. And then the last thing we were talking about, which is a little bit similar to that, is boundaries. If you are someone who respects another person's boundaries, I think that you gain a little bit of trust. Some people think that trust is just automatically given and then it's taken away if you break it. I think trust is earned. I think that you are someone... No. I think that you can gain trust with someone, or someone can earn your trust. And I think that a big way that Eddie grew a lot in the trust that I had for him was when he respected the boundaries that I had, and when we set boundaries for one another and worked towards keeping those boundaries.
If you're watching this video and you're in a long distance relationship, salute to you.
You got this.
You got this. You're gonna have to wrap up this video, babe, because my throat is really...
It hurts.
I don't know. But yeah, give him some words of encouragement before you get up out of here.
To all the other long-distance couples out there who really do want to continue to strive, not only to do the right thing, but to continue to build with what you have, even from a distance, we are here for you. We are going through the same thing. We want to be intentional, and I hope that this has been some encouragement. Eddie's throat is bugging out right now. So we just hope that this is some encouragement to you. Yeah, you got this. Stay focused. Remember your why. Remember why you got into it in the first place.
Wow.
And also evaluate. It's okay if you realize that a relationship may be for a season or things aren't where you are anymore. Just evaluate, do what you got to do, and be wise from there. God loves you.
You're so wise, Naomi.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say. You're just really elite. So,
Thank you. You too.
With that being said, leave a like for YouTube algorithm, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Leave in the comments down below what other questions, comments, concerns, video ideas you guys have for us. We'll be happy to, what's the word I'm looking for? Socialize with you guys on there, connect with you guys.
Build community.
So it's about building community, and we're looking forward to building that community, putting out more content to help you in your relationship, and bigger than just your relationship with yourself, most importantly, your relationship with God. So stay tuned in for more content. We love y'all. Let's get it.